Welcome back. A jilted lover today killed his girlfriend in broad daylight and later committed suicide by stabbing himself with the same knife after she rejected his marriage proposal at the busy Paris Corner area in Chennai. Our crime correspondent Salim has more on this.
It was a cold-blooded, spine-chilling murder. The public who was standing at the Broadway bus terminus were shocked. It was around 8:40 this morning. A 25-year-old Rajaratnam arrived at the Broadway bus terminus. He was working as a car serviceman. He took out his knife and slashed the throat of 21-year-old Kartika, who was working as an IT engineer. Kartika soon fell down. She was lying down in a pool of blood, and 25-year-old Rajaratnam, after assaulting Kartika, he assaulted himself, and he also cut his stomach open. Soon he was lying in a pool of blood. The police were informed. They rushed to the spot and moved the body to the Rajiv Gandhi Government Hospital. But the police declared Kartika dead on arrival, and Rajaratnam did not respond to the treatment and died later. In fact, the body is kept at the Rajiv Gandhi Government Hospital mortuary. Postmortem will be conducted tomorrow. The police are investigating about the murder. In fact, we were told that both of them are from Thiruvattriyur, whereas 25-year-old Rajaratnam was hailing from Kanyakumari. The police are waiting for his parents to arrive. Investigations are on.
Taking you away from the tragic scene, Chief Minister Jayalalitha has announced the allocation of over 17 crore rupees to boost samba crop cultivation in the state. This included increase in subsidy to farmers in the Kaveri Delta areas. Ms. Jayalalitha recalled that she had ordered opening of the Mettur Dam from the 17th of September for the crop cultivation after Karnataka failed to release Tamil Nadu's due share of Kaveri waters. She said that over 53 crore rupees had already been sanctioned to enable farmers adopt modern methods. The Chief Minister also flagged off 1,000 new buses and introduced 379 new bus routes in the state. At a function held at the State Secretariat, she also handed over retirement benefits to the tune of around 32 crore rupees to over 1,500 transport employees. Reports say that the 1,000 buses launched today were eco-friendly and would be more comfortable both for passengers and the crew. The Metropolitan Transport Corporation, which operates buses in Chennai city and its peripheries, would get 45 of the buses. About 40 polytechnic students were injured when a bus in which they were travelling was caught in a mud and overturned at Udagamandalam in Nilgiris district. Reports say that the injured were students of the Government Polytechnic Institute. The bus was proceeding to the Polytechnic when it was caught in a mound of mud. In a bid to come out of it, the driver pressed on the accelerator and in the process, the bus overturned. Locals and auto drivers who saw the mishap rushed to the spot and rescued the trapped students by breaking open the window panes and rushed them to the hospital. Moving on, while the 51 villagers of Khandwa finally heaved a sigh of relief, calling off the Jal Satyagraha, in another part of Madhya Pradesh, another group of villagers continued their protest against the government's decision to raise the water level. Like the Omkareshwar Dam, the Chauhan government's decision to raise the water level of the Indira Sagar Dam has created a storm in the lives of these men and women who claim that they were not compensated as promised despite having to give up their land. The protesters in Harda have been on a Jal Satyagraha for almost 13 days now. The Supreme Court has said that there can be no blanket guideline to regulate media reporting of sub judice matters, but added that restrictions could be sought in specific cases. It, however, added that apprehending prejudice, any aggrieved person can move a competent court seeking to restrain the media from reporting the proceedings in his or her case. A constitution bench of the top court also observed that freedom of speech and expression is not an absolute and remarked that journalists should know the Lakshman Rekha so that they don't cross the line of contempt.
A constitution bench of the Supreme Court, headed by Chief Justice, has enunciated certain constitutional principles. These are constitutional principles saying that if there is a real and substantial risk of prejudice to the fairness of the trial, then prior restraint on the media can be imposed. But that can be imposed only when an application will be made by an accused person to the High Court, because this power would be restricted to the writ jurisdiction, which is only to the High Courts. So if a person feels that his trial will be prejudiced by media coverage, then a person can go to the court and can get a stay order against the pre-publication against the media.
The Supreme Court has held that while no such general guidelines can be issued regarding how the media should report matters or not report matters, etc., but they have laid down one principle, that it is possible and legal for at least the High Courts and the Supreme Court to restrain the media from publishing anything on certain matters which are pending before the court if the affected party makes a complaint to the High Court or the Supreme Court and the court feels that in that case a restraint on the media is necessary to protect the right to life of that applicant.
Meanwhile, Chief of the Janata Party Subramanian Swamy hailed the Supreme Court's verdict on the issue.
I think this is a very, very major milestone in our fight for democratic rights, and I am very, very happy that the Supreme Court has given a full consideration to a problem that should be settled, and consequently I also would recommend that Mr. Sibal and others go back to college to learn some Indian law, because they have been foreign educated, so they may not know Indian law very well.
Updating you on the coal block allocation scam, where the BJP has sharpened its attack on the UPA government. The principal opposition party slammed the Congress for criticizing the CAG. The BJP also released documents to show how the present UPA government had allocated 17 coal blocks to 36 companies without going through the screening committee. BJP spokesperson Ravi Shankar Prasad said that it was the Congress' scheme to first refuse, then deny and ridicule, knowing that the CAG will not be joining issue with them publicly since it was a constitutional body.
श्री प्रकाश जायसवाल से पहला सवाल ये करना है कि क्या 2008 में वो मनोज जायसवाल के परिवार के डिस्प्यूट में आर्बिट्रेटर थे? मनोज जायसवाल के प्रमोटेड अभिजीत ग्रुप को लगभग 5 कोल ब्लॉक्स मिले, आपको मालूम है, जिनके संबंध विजय दद्दा के भी साथ हैं, ये भी आपको मालूम है। ये अखबारों में बहुत छप चुका है, उसको दोहराने की जरूरत नहीं है, कोई डिनायल नहीं हुआ है। ये भी सामने बात आई है कि मनोज जायसवाल कंपनी गॉट थाउजेंड्स ऑफ करोड्स ऑफ लोन्स। किसी ने बताया है कि इट रन्स इनटू अबाउट 20,000 करोड्स, मेनी ऑफ द PSU बैंक्स एज वेल। लेकिन हम श्री प्रकाश जायसवाल से जानना चाहेंगे कि क्या यह सही है कि आप आर्बिट्रेटर थे? अगर थे तो किस कैपेसिटी में थे?
कि टोटल 195 कोल ब्लॉक्स एलोकेट किए गए 1993 से लेकर UPA 1 के रिजीम तक, जिसका कि पार्लियामेंट के क्वेश्चन में एक बार नहीं अनेकों बार जवाब दिया गया। क्या 195 से 196 कोल ब्लॉक एलोकेट हुआ? और अगर नहीं हुआ तो ये फॉल्स एलिगेशन लगाकर केवल अपनी फेस सेविंग करने वाले लोग और पॉलिटिक्स करने वाले लोग, इनको अपनी आदतों से बाज आना चाहिए। जब एक बार नहीं अनेकों बार कहा जा चुका है कि 2009 यानी UPA 2 के बाद कोई भी कोल ब्लॉक एलोकेशन नहीं हुआ है।
Moving on, supporters of anti-corruption activist Anna Hazare stormed into a restaurant in Patna today, where Congress Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia was holding a press conference. The activists got into a fight with Congress supporters and had to be removed by the police. Soon after the incident, however, Mr. Scindia said that he will meet the reporters and answer their questions. Gujarat Chief Minister Narendra Modi kicked off his campaign for the upcoming assembly polls with a month-long statewide yatra from Beach Raji in the state's Mehsana district. The yatra, which will cover 182 assembly constituencies, started in the presence of former BJP President Rajnath Singh and Rajya Sabha opposition leader Arun Jaitley. Called the Vivekananda Yuva Vikas Yatra, the tour begins on a day when spiritual leader Swami Vivekananda made his historic speech at the Chicago Conference of World Religions 150 years ago.
भाइयों बहनों, मैं 11 अक्टूबर तक जनता जनार्दन के बीच जाने वाला हूं, जनता से संवाद करने वाला हूं। मैं कांग्रेस के मित्रों को आह्वान करता हूं, दिल्ली की सल्तनत को आह्वान करता हूं, आइए, गुजरात ने विकास का रास्ता अपनाया है, आइए विकास की स्पर्धा करें। झूठ बोलने की स्पर्धा में मैं आना नहीं चाहता, मुझे वो रास्ता मंजूर नहीं, गंदे आरोप लगाने के रास्ते पर मैं जाना नहीं चाहता, वो रास्ता हमें मंजूर नहीं। हमारा मार्ग है स्वामी विवेकानंद जी के सपनों को पूरा करने का, हमारा रास्ता है गुजरात को विकास की नई ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाने का।
Onto the 2G scam in a blow for former telecom minister A. Raja, his former private secretary R.K. Chandolia and telecom firm Unitech. Key witness A.K. Srivastava stood by his evidence against the three. Raja failed to dissuade the DOT official. During his cross-examination, DOT official Srivastava reiterated that Chandolia at Raja's behest had asked him if Unitech's application had come and also instructed that no application be taken after Unitech. Raja tried to discredit Srivastava's evidence by arguing that Srivastava had not made the Unitech Chandolia point in his initial statement to the CBI, but later made a story in his testimony to the judge at CBI's behest. It's another short break for now, but we will be right back soon.